Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Dan, and this year my wife and I decided to participate in the Great Cycling Challenge Canada. We decided to do this pretty spur of the moment type thing. This just sort of popped up on my Facebook feed one day, and we decided that in a year where so many things have gone wrong for so many people, why don't we try and do something a little bit different and give something back to our community. We're asking for your help with any donations for these kids, and we're calling on all Canadians to get on their bikes and join our movement to kick cancer's butt. We were both fortunate to be able to continue to work during the pandemic, so we thought we might as well try and do something good for people that are not as fortunate as we, particularly sick kids. Cancer is a horrible, horrible thing for anybody to have to go through. I think it's pretty safe to say that's an understatement. The Great Cycling Challenge Canada is all about raising funds for some of these kids that are fighting for their lives. Cancer is the largest killer of children from disease in Canada. Over 1,400 Canadian children are diagnosed with cancer every single year. My wife and I have both had several family members that have gone through cancer. Some have battled through it, some have not, and some are still battling. So this challenge took on a personal note for both of us, and we've decided that this year we're going to do something about it. So, to help promote our fundraiser challenge, we decided to do a little instructional video on how to clean your bikes. We figured if you're going to be riding your bike for the month of August, it's probably a good idea to have a clean bike. Maybe you're new to the challenge like we are. Maybe you're new to bike riding, or maybe you just haven't cleaned your bike in a while and you need a little incentive. We thought this might be a good help to get you started with some really easy bike maintenance. If you're a beginner to bike riding, this is a great way to get your bike in good shape and make sure it lasts you for a long time. You don't have to do this every single time after you ride your bike, but it's a good idea to do it after you put in a few rides or after a particularly dirty or dusty ride. Hope this helps in any way for caring for your bike, and we hope we can count on your donation to help these kids. Any donation is helpful and very much appreciated. I'll put a link in the description to where you can make a donation to our team or to both of us individually. And with that, let's get your bikes cleaned. Here are some of the items you're going to be using: degreaser, chain lube, a sturdy bristled brush with a scraper at the end of it so you can scrape some of that gunk off, a set of rags, a clean one, a dirty one, and one for your grease cleanup, a bucket of warm soapy water and a clean sponge, and an empty water bottle to put clean water in. Here's our bikes. My bike, my wife's bike. They're not too bad. Just a little dusty and mucky, but could definitely use a little TLC. Terrain's a little gunky. Nothing a little bit of hot water, degreaser, and soap can't get rid of. Just regular bike maintenance. There's no signs of rust or corrosion anywhere. Just needs a little bit of TLC. And they'll be good as new. First step is to take the wheels off your bike. You can turn your bike upside down, or if you have a bike rack or a stand, you can put it on that and make it a lot easier. Take your dirty rag and put some degreaser on it, and then start taking that gunk off the chain. You can run the chain gently, not too fast, and make sure you get all around the chain. You can also take your brush, put some degreaser on that, and start scrubbing away at the chain and the sprockets. Just make sure you go around the chain and on the inside and the outside of the sprocket. You can then use the scraping end of the brush to get some of that tough gunk out. Once that's done, take your sponge and soapy water and start cleaning the bike top to bottom. Just make sure you cover the entire bike with soapy water, underside, top side, between the pedals. Make sure you get the handlebar, the seat post, and all the places where you see dirt and mud. Also, make sure you wrap the chain with the sponge and run it a little bit to get that degreaser off the chain. Once you feel you've covered the entire bike with soapy water, it's time to rinse it off. Fill up your empty water bottle with some clean water and start spraying from top to bottom. You don't have to spray or squeeze your bottle very hard. Just think about it like gentle rain washing off your bike. Just make sure you get the chain, the frame, the handlebar, the seat post, and every inch of the bike. You don't want to leave any soap residue. If you feel like you've gotten the entire frame rinsed off, you can put it aside and let it air dry for a little bit. Now you can move on to your wheels. You're going to use a similar method to how you started with the frame. Spray some degreaser on your rough brush and start scrubbing away in between all the gears. If you feel like you need to scrape some of the gunk off, you can go ahead and use the scraper at the end of the brush. This particular scraper is really good for getting in between all the gears. After that, it's time for some warm soapy water. Work your way around the wheel and make sure you get in between all the gears. Go around both sides of the wheel along the rim and make sure the rims are smooth and free of scrapes and gunk. Don't forget about the spokes also. If you have disc brakes like I do, make sure you get on the inside of the disc as well as the outside. Once you feel like you've covered the entire wheel with soapy water, rinse it off with your clean water bottle just like you did with the frame. It works really well if you tilt the wheel towards you and spray in between all the gears. After that, it's time to put the wheels back on. Now that you have the wheels on, it's time to lube the chain back up. You can take your grease rag, put a little bit of grease on it, and very gently and slowly run the chain with your rag wrapped around it. I like this method because if you don't put a lot of grease on your rag, you can very easily spread the grease evenly along the chain. If you have an applicator on the end of your grease container, you can also take your time and go through every single link in the chain and put a drop of grease on each link. Once you've ran the chain a few times around, you can take off the excess grease with your rag around the gears and around the sprocket. Once you feel confident that you've got the entire chain looped up, it's time to run it a little bit and make sure your gears are shifting smoothly. You should notice a difference instantly if you loop the chain evenly. Here's the final product. Much better. Nice and greased. Not gunky and mucky inside. Nice and clean. It's not perfect, but it's simple enough to get your bike lasting a long time.